Hi my dear friends, and this is Taz from Taslima Maya Art. Welcome to my channel of mixed media and fluid art creations. It's great to have you here. If you're new, please do check out my other videos, as most of them are tutorials and step-by-step for beginners. And don't forget to hit those like, share and subscribe buttons, and do leave me a comment. I love hearing from you. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to create a dragonfly bookmark using gold leaf and dragonfly stickers in UV resin. I'll also be using Colour Art's sparkle and diamond pigment sets in my creation. So let's jump to it. Okay, so I'm going to be using a bookmark resin mold made out of silicone that I bought from TMA&x. But before we start, a quick note to say safety first. Please make sure you're using your respirator. I've got adequate ventilation where you're working, and using gloves and any other precautions you need to take when using resin. To start with, I line my end of my bookmark with some UV resin here, and on the other end I put down shards of shell, abalone shell, and I'm just using a little skewer now to make sure that silicone has gone right into the corners and around the edges. I'm going to be mixing up some Colour Art pigments. That's Bling It Violet Sparkle and Bling It Gold Diamond, so interference colours, and I'm going to pop them into my silicone cup there and mix it in with my UV resin. This is sped up, so when you mix up your resin, please make sure you mix it slowly and steadily to avoid introducing too many air bubbles into it. There are of course ways to pop air bubbles, such as spraying it with some isopropyl alcohol or using a torch lighter, which I will do later. And these pigments are absolutely amazing. They really are stunning, really. In this piece at the end, you will see at the end. And I'm just mixing them up and adding a bit more UV resin now. Again, as I didn't have enough, I'm mixing that up, and it's pretty straightforward even for a beginner, just to do that, in terms of adding pigments or alcohol inks or any other type of colorant. I'm just going to add this now into my silicone mold right in the center there, because I want to have some transparency at the top and bottom of my bookmark. Now, I did already make a bookmark previously using UV resin. It was one of my very first ever projects. It's one of the previous videos, so it's on my channel, so do go check that out if you haven't seen it already. And in that one I used actually pressed flowers, so it's worth a watch if you haven't seen it already. And this one I wanted to do something slightly different and use some stickers, which I haven't done previously. So I'm just finishing off adding the rest of that resin, coloured resin in. And there's some really beautiful sparkle in this part of the bookmark. You'll see it at the end again. And I'm bringing that down. I'm going to fill the bottom half with clear UV resin that hasn't been coloured, straight from the bottle. And I'm doing that now, and I'm making sure that it completely covers all of the shell shards at the bottom there. I am actually super excited about starting all the resin projects, because there's so many possibilities and so many things you can do with them, and I can't wait to start watching videos and seeing what other people are doing with them. So if you're a resin artist and you're watching, got any tips or any suggestions, please do leave me a comment below. If you just use resin for a longer time than I have and you've got any ideas about what can be done, please do let me know and I will give it a go. Here I'm just using a little toothpick or skewer to make sure it goes right into the corners and pop any bubbles as well. And I also use it to swirl the two colours together, so it's a bit of a natural kind of change between the two. And I'm adding some beautiful gold foil flakes, which I've kind of broken up. So this is gold leaf, not foil, sorry, and I'm just adding bits of it, and this is from a previous project that this was left over after I brushed it off a painting before, and I'm just picking up the smaller particles and dropping them in with a palette knife right in between where the two colours meet. the transparent UV resin and the one which has the mica powders in. I think the funny thing for me is that sometimes I just go with the flow. I mean, I never really had a plan for this. I sort of just looked at what I had around me, picked it up and threw it all together. I hope you like the end outcome. I know I do. It's really pretty. But yeah, I mean, I just pretty much threw it together to see what happens, and that's the beauty of this type of art project using this kind of resin. It's just instant with the UV resin. And remember that butane torches can often damage the silicone mold, so it's better to use a long necked lighter or even a heat gun to try and pop any bubbles, or use alcohol spray as well, isopropyl alcohol. I have 99% isopropyl alcohol in a spray bottle which I can just spray it with. And then I take my hot air blower and I try and pop some bubbles using that, as you can see here. So now that I've got my first layer of resin down, it's only about a mil or so, or 2 mil thick. I use my UV lamp to cure it, and it only really takes a few minutes. You can also leave it out in the sun, which also does the trick. Takes a little bit longer depending on how bright it is outside. And this is how I built up the layers, by gradually curing every layer that I put down, because UV resin you can only do a maximum 4 mil. So I've only used UV resin twice before this project, so I'm pretty much learning on the job and learning quite fast, I think. There's so much to know, like for example, my UV resin was actually really thick, and it came out quite thick and hard to kind of really get into each of those corners there, and I realized later it's because I hadn't heated it up. So from trial and error, I heated it up on my heat mat afterwards and found that it flowed a lot easier and would therefore go into the crevices much easier than I was doing so at this stage. Hi and welcome back. I finally cured my bookmark. As you can see, I don't know if you can catch it, but it's extremely glittery around here. Beautiful pigments there, and it's got the gold flakes there, and I've added a little dragonfly here. I don't know if you can see that. I want to show you how I did that in a second. I've also added some nail art here, which I have like this, and this is, you can buy this in most accessory glitter kind of shops, where you can take that off and place it along the top, which is what I've done here. I'm going to glaze that over with some resin as well. So I'm going to show you how I did this. So I've got two options here. One is tattoos. So these are temporary tattoos which you use water with, which I've used in a number of my projects, and I could have just put that on there, sprayed the back, lifted it up and painted it over with a bit more resin. As well as that, I've ordered these beautiful deco stickers, and these are stickers, they're not decals or anything like that, or transfers, and there's some beautiful designs. I'm going to pick one to place over the top part, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. But first of all, before we do that, I'm just going to take this out of the mould. It's definitely bound to be ready. It's been sitting in the sun for ages. It hasn't come out of the mould yet, so I'm going to look at the back. Wow, yeah, it's definitely cured. It's quite good, and you can see this is how it looks. It's a bit of transparency here, but the rest of it's really okay, isn't it? Look at that. So pretty, and you can see this dragonfly through the transparent part of it. I might try and sand the edges of it a little bit to round it off. But what we're going to do now is we're just going to stick one of these stickers onto this part here, which is what I want to do. So I'm going to pick one that fits, ideally fits, and I might put one of these little flowers in there as well. I think I'll put on this and maybe see if I can put this one in, this middle one here, which looks really nice. It's flying downwards, you see, so it'll be nice to have one going down, or I could have it going up really and have the flower coming out and make it fit. What do you think? Go that way? Seems better looking down, I think. What do you think?
Okay, so I'm just going to cut one of these out. I'm going to cut this one out. I'm just going to very roughly cut it out to begin with. Okay, I'm going to trim all the way around the edge of the Dragonflies. This is a sticker. I don't want to leave excess on, so I'll be right back. Okay, so I've just taken the backing off it and I've cut around my sticker. See that? Perfect. I'm just going to pop it on there now. I'm just going to probably put it this way. See that, but I'm not 100% sure which way around would be better. No, yeah, definitely going up and away now. Okay, I made up my mind. I'm going to try and see if I can fit it without the wings sort of. Oh, okay, it's done. It's staying there. So that's where it's going. I'm going to just push it down, make sure it's properly adhered. You can see one of its little legs there as well. Just perfect. That's wonderful. And I might put one of these gold leaves as well, kind of coming in on the side. Yeah, we'll do that as well. So I'll pop that on there as well. We're almost finished.
Once this part is done, I then put my final thin layer of resin over the top and let that cure.
And then I'm going to put one of these tassels on. Put the tassel. Just feed it through. And I think we're almost done. I might get a gold pen and add a few further embellishments in the form of leaves. But I'm really pleased with this outcome. So this is the final outcome. So this is the final outcome here. Maybe it's easier if I actually put it against something you can see. And put it on this book so you can actually see the full result. That's what it looks like. Beautiful. Hope you like that. You think it's really pretty, just as like I do. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.
Jump into the car on a Friday night. I wanna drive with you. Looking for a bar in the nearest town. I've never seen a sky so blue. We don't have a plan and the night is young. It doesn't matter what we do. There ain't nobody like you. Look so beautiful, and I'm so lucky to be yours. And you're taking me high. Ain't nobody like you. I'm not coming down. Ain't nobody like you. I could go 1,000 miles as long as I'm with you. Yeah, you're taking me high. Ain't nobody like you. Talking about yourself and you make me smile. I can listen
So that's my Dragonfly bookmark with gold leaf and abalone shell shards with mica powder and its silver tassel, and I really do hope you like it. I really like it. It's beautiful. If I were to do it again, I'd probably put thinner layers down. It's quite a thick bookmark, but other than that, I'm very happy with it. Thank you for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. I hope you enjoyed that. Stay with us, because up next on the Fluid Art Express is Venom Fluid Art.